Next time I'll get it right, but for now I'll stay right here where I belong.
You have an amazing opportunity, young generation, to rise above and be proud of the choices you're making, and get out of a codependent culture and be responsible for you and work harder in your life than anyone else ever will.
What do you want? What do you want out of your life? Where do you want to go? If no one else will fight, I'll be the one. I'll be the one to step into their world. I'll be the one to walk with them.
And I mean it more than you'll ever know.
Some people will ghost you. Well, then maybe they're not real friends. At some point in time in your life, you are going to have to come face to face with yourself.
Next time I'm getting it right. Will you believe me if I say this is the last time?
And then she points at me and she goes, there's greatness inside of you. Sometimes we need people to believe things for us until we can believe it for ourselves. Because I look at what I'm doing now and it's not lining up with what they said I couldn't do. And now I'm doing everything that people said I couldn't do. Because now I travel the world and I share my story.
Next time I'll get it right, but for now I'll stay right here where I belong.
And by the time I was 26, I was sitting in 30-day inpatient treatment for alcohol. My family wanted nothing to do with me, couldn't hold a job. I was codependent, all because I thought I could get away with it. I should probably have about 10 DUIs. I only have 2. My last one was June 24th, 2010. That was the DUI that changed my life.
For it to hurt more, to stay the same. When I get through this storm, I'll find it on my own. And I'll mean it more than you'll ever know.
And so I'm going to talk about connection and belonging. We're looking for a place to belong where someone can come out and say, hey, we want you here. I want you here. We want you around. We say we live in such a connected world. If that's the case, if we really say we're more connected, then why is everybody more depressed?
There's no dumb kid. There's no worthless kid. There's only kids that have been starved of love and have been wounded so badly we're just looking for a place to lay. We can't change the history, but we can help shape their future.
Next time I'm getting it right.
Take one thing that you want to focus on to overcome in your life. Take one thing at a time and walk through the process. The process is only a process if one stays in it. If you don't stay in the process, then it's no longer a process. What is going on, everybody? So good to be here with you back live this week. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed last week's episode. Keep listening, keep emailing us. We want to hear from you. peerpurposepodcast@gmail.com. At the end of this episode, what I want you guys to do is put in your questions. I'm going to be talking about, I think it's a good topic tonight. I think it's a really amazing topic. I'm going to be talking about something that I really feel has kind of taken over our society in these last few years. And so I want you at the end to put in any questions that you may have on this topic, and I would love to get to them at the end. So the topic of tonight is such a delight to be here with you all. It's what is the proper response when someone hurts you? Okay. Again, since COVID, since 2020, there's been a lot of, I'm just going to say offense. Offense has kind of taken over in a sense. It's taken over the fact that we're just offended by everything. We're offended by opinions. We're offended by policies. We're offended by if someone, racism, whatever it is, right? We're offended by it all. And so I'm going to actually talk about what is the proper response when someone hurts you. Okay, this is big in our society today. And a lot of the time, we might think that revenge is actually the way to go, right? We might think, revenge, go get him, go get him. And it's just really, we're creating a me against the world mentality. That's really what it comes down to. It's me against the world. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you have a me against the world mentality, it's not beneficial for you. It's really not going to be great for you. Me against the world, it really actually is only showing the insecurities that have been inside of you for long, and you just are really choosing not to deal with them. And so tonight we're going to get into some of that and what is the proper response when someone hurts you. Now, I'm going to disclaim something. Don't get mad at me. I know a lot of people think, well, they hurt me, Bobby, and I'm, again, never going to deny that pain is real. I've been there. Pain is real, especially when you're dealing with something or someone that is very close to you or something that is very important to you. The pain is real. Okay. Let's start there. Let me just disclaim that. But also, there is a way out of that. And actually, the more you hold and the more you want revenge towards someone, you're actually going to end up hurting yourself way more. Last week, we talked about introspection. This creates more introspection. We're going to go deeper on introspection because I do see a lot of it today. But here's the things that we're going to talk about tonight, okay? I'm going to tell you how do you respond when it comes to being hurt by someone. The first thing is this. You have to understand where someone is coming from, okay? That's the first thing you have to do when you get hurt by someone. Again, pain is real. I'm not going to deny that. Okay. Pain is super real. It hurts. Emotional pain is probably worse than any type of pain out there. Okay. I've been in a place where emotional pain takes over. It feels, your brain doesn't know the difference, right? Your brain doesn't know whether you got hit by a car or you got broke up with, or someone backstabbed you or gossiped about you or hurt you just in any way, right? And so it's hard to overcome that emotional pain, but you have to understand where the person is coming from. This is big. If your young kids listen right now, this is big with if you're being bullied. One thing I will tell you, bullies never, ever go after someone because they feel good about themselves. People go after other people because they are miserable inside and they don't know how to navigate their own pain and their own wounds. I like using the word wounds because that's what happens after the catastrophic event that you go through. The wounds that just basically break open. And I see a picture of wounds just in people, and it's just like they're cut open. Well, that's what happens. You get wounded. Okay. So you have to understand where the person's coming from. What have they been through? What are they going through in the moment? They're not going to come after you for the most part. They're not going to come after you if there's not something going inside of them. And more importantly, this is the big one. What education are they lacking in? What education may they not have as far as how to deal with people, how to deal with platonic relationships, even romantic relationships? What may they be dealing with inside of them, or the lack of education they don't have, right? So you have to understand where the person is coming from. Why did they hurt you? Okay. I'm going to get to something here in a little bit. And again, don't get mad at me for this, because what happens is a lot of the times when we're hurt by someone, it exposes, often exposes what is inside of us, the poison that's inside of us. Okay. That's why it hurts so bad. It's maybe a wound that you've had from a childhood, something that happened in your childhood. It may be something that you've gotten along the way with people. But a lot of the times when you were hurt, it exposes what's there. Okay. It exposes it. And I'm going to tell you, it's good to get bumped because then you know what's in you. You know what's in you when you're bumped. Now, however, I will tell you, if you don't deal with it, it's going to cause you more problems in the long run. Okay. It's going to cause you way more problems in the long run than you actually want to deal with. And then what's going to happen is at some point when you get to the end of that, it's going to spill out onto something or someone that you don't want it to. Okay. So you have to understand, where are they coming from? What have they went through in their life? Okay. The next thing is compassion. This is how you respond to someone that hurts you. Compassion. Having a heart for someone that may not understand what they're doing to you will go so far. And honestly, it'll leave you totally unscathed. Okay. having compassion for someone, being able to look back and being able to get to a place where you can say, man, yeah, it didn't feel good. And I had to go through that. But just imagine how much more they need love, and they need a shoulder, and they need someone to be there for them. Having compassion takes you so far. There was something that happened to someone very close to me years and years and years and years ago, before I was even around. When I was older, I found out what happened to them. And this, when I found out what happened, and I was in my mid-20s. When I found out what happened, in that moment and shortly thereafter, it clicked for me. I can't share the story because I have to protect the people involved, but it clicked for me. And what clicked for me was every way that they treated me made so much sense after they revealed to me what they went through. And what did it allow me to do? As I got healthier, I was able to have compassion, and I was able to meet them where they're at. Compassion allows you to meet someone where they are at, even though they may not deserve it or even want it. But having that compassion and meeting on them where they're at, I'm telling you, it will soften your heart even more. People only give you what they have. I've said this many times in this podcast. They don't give you any more than what they have. If they have pain, they're going to give you pain. It's as simple as that. Okay? This will always expose what's inside of you when someone hurts you. Okay? The third thing, and I'm going to disclaim this, it's forgiveness. This is how you respond, but I'm going to disclaim this for people. Okay? Here's the big disclaimer. If you don't know Jesus, it's going to be hard for you to forgive. Okay? Because the fact that Jesus died for our sins and forgave us first, that's why the ones that know him are able to forgive. We didn't deserve it, but he did it anyways. Okay? It's going to be hard for you to forgive if you don't know Jesus. I'm just going to be real honest with you. If you're listening to this or watching this right now, if you don't know Jesus, I would absolutely recommend you having a personal relationship with him, and go ahead and reach out to me. You guys know me. You guys know my story. That is the main part of my story. I wouldn't be where I'm at today without Jesus. Okay? But if you don't know him, it's going to be hard to forgive. But if you can forgive, forgive. Okay, this year there were some things that I went through. Okay, it wasn't fun. At all. But I was able to forgive the people that hurt me. Okay, I was able to forgive them. And that was one of the biggest celebrations for me, because I came away not offended at anybody. And what was I able to do even more? Well, forgiveness, if you're able to actually forgive someone and actually get through that, it's easy for you to let go of the offense. Okay. My pastors, and I don't even know if they said it, but here's what it comes down to. Okay. I believe they said bitterness is murder in a diaper. Okay. It starts off, you get offended, it gets bitter, your heart gets super cold. And through that time, you end up really hurting people more and more and more as you go. Okay. But if you're able to forgive someone and really let it go, if you can do that, that's going to help you let go of the offense. Okay. That's how we respond in today's society. We don't need more revenge. We don't need to humiliate people. Okay. But I want this to be very clear tonight. If you've been hurt, the reason why it stains is because it exposes the unhealthiness inside of you. Because if you were healthy, it wouldn't hurt so bad. Okay. Some of it may be a root of rejection. Okay. I've dealt with rejection. I grew up feeling rejected by people. For many years, I lived my life like people were going to come, be here for a temporary moment, and then leave. And majority of the time that happened, I actually got used to expecting that, and I got used to seeing that happen. But what that does is after time, it takes root. And so you're just expecting the rejection in anything. But what you do is you keep people at a distance if you're scared of being rejected. Okay. Or you're scared of being hurt. You keep them at a distance. And then when they hurt you, it's even takes you further away from where you're trying to go because you actually have never dealt with it and you don't know how to get through it. Okay. So it's important for us to understand tonight that when you get hurt by someone, a lot of the times we are exposed. Our unhealthiness spills out. And we always want to think it's them, it's them, it's them. Let me tell you something right now. Responding to people in a manner which they may have responded to you, if they've hurt you, responding to them the same way, it gives them no hope for a better outcome in the future. I'm about giving people hope. And we live in a crazy, flawed world. So I tell my kids this all the time. Even if you heal up and you get through and you forgive and you let go of the offense of what happened to you, I can't promise you that you're not going to get hurt again. But what you can do is put these principles that we talked about tonight into practice. And as you're getting hurt by someone, the more and more you put it into practice to get through it. I'm not saying ignore it, because you have to process the pain. You have to navigate the pain because it's real. Okay. If someone's telling you right now, no, that pain's not real, just ignore it, just stuff it down, that's bad advice. Okay. I'm just going to be super honest with you. That is super bad advice. You have to actually process it. You need to find a person that is safe enough to actually talk through what happened to you. Maybe even write down what happened to you. Because when you're able to see it, you're able to process it. Your brain's able to say, okay, that's what happened. And not only that, you don't keep it up here. Okay. You don't keep it up here. You don't let it seep and keep just kind of infiltrating your insides. And you're able to get it out of there. Okay. So write it down. You have to process the pain. But when you do that and you start putting these principles into place, understanding where that person is coming from, understanding more than to be understood by them, and compassion and forgiveness and letting go of it, as you put that into practice more, it becomes easier. It becomes easier. And then you can be a beacon of hope for those people. Because again, like I said, if you respond the same way and you want to hurt someone or you want revenge on them, you give them no hope. You give someone no hope. When I get hurt, and trust me, I get hurt. People hurt me. Words hurt. Okay. I don't want to respond in the same manner because it gives them no hope. And I want them to look at me and be like, man, there's something different about Bobby. Okay. The forgiveness thing as well. We have to understand that if we don't know Jesus, it can be hard to forgive. And if you can't forgive, you're going to hold on to just a bag of stuff, and you're going to keep adding to it, and it's going to be heavy, and it's going to end up weighing you down. Okay. So that's how we respond to when someone hurts you. Okay. It's time to go after healthy living. It's time to go after the pains that we've had since we were young kids. Okay. Guys, I'm no different. I'm human too. There's pains from my childhood that I've had to deal with in my adulthood. But like I said, if we don't deal with them now, we're going to give them to someone else. And I'm not interested in that. And I hope a lot of you aren't interested in that either. Because there is a way to get to the other side of the pains and the wounds that life and people have to bring or do bring to you. Okay? There's a way to the other side. And how you do that, one, how you respond, you're only going to see more of how you respond. So if you respond in the same manner, you're going to create the cycle to keep going. Okay? We want to stop the cycle. Don't keep going back and forth, right? You stop the cycle. One person steps up higher and they say, okay, this didn't feel good. I have people in my life that can help me walk through this. And maybe by actually dealing with this the proper way, maybe I'll show that other person that there is a better way to handle it. I'd love to answer your questions. I really would. I would really love to answer your questions. If you have any, put them in the chat. If not, you can always email us at purepurposepodcast@gmail.com. Angela Hartle says, getting to the other side of the pain and the hurt gives you more energy for healthy living. Oh man, that's good, girl. I like it. My daughter just said that. Yeah, absolutely. And comments are the same way. Absolutely. Getting to the other side of that pain and hurt gives you more energy for healthy living. That's the only way you're going to get to the healthy living. Yeah, that's perfect. Again, it gives someone no hope if we just hold on to everything that they do to us. It's not, you don't stop a negative cycle by repeating more of it. Okay. So getting to the other side of it. Again, I'm going to give some bigger resources here. If you're struggling with the pain that you've had in your life, like, go to a counselor. There's a lot of amazing counselors out there. Okay. There's a lot of amazing resources out there for you to walk through. Guys, life is hard. It's not easy. Does life suck? No, life is a gift. It's amazing. But that doesn't mean it's not hard. Okay? It's not hard. That doesn't mean it's not hard. Because of the world we live in, and there's so many different backgrounds and so many different walks of life, and we're always dealing with different people, we have to protect our hearts. And sometimes we don't know how to do that very well. So there are going to be, I call them arrows that get shot at us and that we're going to have pulled out, right? We do have that happen. Okay. So living a life of continual healthy growth will only better prepare you for what obstacles come at you. So that was good. Thank you, Angela. Any more questions out there? I'd love to answer them tonight. Again, we can always turn your questions into a podcast episode. We appreciate you for tuning in with us tonight. We love you all. You're going to be okay. We're going to do it together. There's so much gold inside of you. And that's how you're going to walk the greatness outside of you. Okay? Hang on a little bit longer, because I promise you, the better days are right around the corner. I love y'all. We're going to keep climbing, and we're going to do it together. Have a good night.
Next time.